Welcome back. I'm Travis with Linux Academy. In this lesson, we're going to start talking about Docker events. Docker events is a great way of getting real-time event data about containers. Now in this lesson, we're primarily going to be working with the command line, but I do want to make you aware that you can actually interact with Docker events using the API. This is something that's very handy to know because if you want to go and monitor any kind of events that are coming out of your Docker containers, this is the way you're going to do it. For example, if somebody goes and attaches to a container, you may want to get a notification because once they detach, that container is going to stop. And this is stuff you want to be alerted on. I'm going to have a link in the description to both the Docker events command because there's a lot of object types that you should be aware of that I'm not going to cover in this video, and also a link to the API documentation. So there's several ways we can go and execute Docker system events. We can run it without any flags, and it's going to sit and wait for events to come in. I can also use the sense flag and then specify a time period. It will give me the events that happen within that time period and then continue listening for future events. Now, I don't have anything coming back for the last hour, so I'm going to go and break out by hitting Control-C. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and fire off Docker system events once again. I'm going to come over here to my second tab, and I'm just going to go and start a container. As you see, we get some information back. So what we have here is the object type as well as the event that's being fired. And we have another event here, which is container start. This is handy to know because we can go and filter for an object type and then look for a specific event. We also have some additional data that's coming back for the event. We have the image for the container, which is CentOS, as well as the name. Any labels that are associated with that container are present as well. There's also the network connect event, which is going and connecting this container here, which is the container that was just created, to a network named bridge that is of type bridge. We can also go and filter events by using the filter flag. And we're going to tell the filter what to look for by going and supplying a filter name. In this example, we're filtering on type, which is the object type, and then what we're looking for. So we'll be filtering on the container object type. We need to make sure that we supply the sense flag because if we don't, we're not going to get any data back. So I'm going to be setting it to 1 hour. And we're only getting 2 events back, which is container create and container start. Note that we don't have the networking events because we are filtering on the container object type. Now, any future events that we receive are only going to be for the container object type. So let's go and create a new event. If I come over here, I'm going to go and execute a Docker container exec, and we're going to do it on the container we created called docker_events. And the command we're going to use is just ls on /. We have several events coming back. We have a container exec create, which is a command that we're firing off, which is ls/. It then goes and starts the exec, and then the exec dies once the command is complete. So just by going and firing off that single command, we have 3 events that are being generated. So you have a very good idea of what is going on. Now let's go and try another filtering example. This time we're going to be using 2 filters. The first one, which we previously used, where we're going to be going and filtering for type container, and then we're going to be filtering for the start event of a container. We're only getting 1 event back, which is container start. And anytime a new container starts, we will get an event showing up. So this is filtering out everything else. So if I go and execute the docker container exec command again, you'll see that we don't have any events coming back. And that's because we're filtering on a specific event, which is start. So now we're going to go and monitor events for more destructive behavior. We're going to go and filter on type container as well as the attach event. So I'm going to go and execute a docker container exec. We're going to use the int flag on the docker events container, and we're going to be using the bin bash command. So now we've gone and attached to the container, but we don't have any events showing up. And the reason why is because we are filtering on the attach event, and the exec command doesn't meet the criteria. So I'm going to go and type exit. Now go and execute a docker container attach on docker events. As you can see, we have an event coming back. We do have a container attach, and this is good because we want to make sure that we are made aware that anytime someone tries to go and attach to a container using the attach command, that we do get a notification. Because once this person goes and disconnects from the container, it's going to go and shut it down. So I'm going to go and type exit, and we're not going to get any future events because we're not filtering for die. So now we're going to make this a little bit more useful, and we're going to be filtering on several things. We're going to be going and adding in event filters for die as well as stop. Now we need to go and restart the Docker events container because it died when we detached from it. Now we're going to go and execute the attach command again. We do have 1 event so far, which is when we went and attached to the container. Now we're going to go and exit, and we have our container die event. Now it is handy to know these commands, but in practice, if we're going to go and use this with a monitoring system, we really should be using the API. This way, when an event fires, the script is able to interface into something like PagerDuty to send out a notification. That's all I have for this lesson. Go ahead and mark it complete.